Hey, the title of today's video is It's Getting Hot in Here. And that's what I'm going to talk about right now is not what the video is about. But you see this blanket that's on my chair? I don't know. Maybe you noticed it another week and said, what in the heck is that? Let me tell you, this is my sound booth because I'm doing my own audiobook and I live in Lake Placid and I do not like to read out loud. I'm doing one chapter a day. I have to turn off my air conditioner, my fan, my dehumidifier, and it's the middle of summer in Florida. It's hot in here. If I turn off the air anyway, but if I have to put this whole blanket, I have to put it over me, my microphone, and the computer, and then read. Now, I don't like to read out loud. I get stumbly and fumbly. And the way I write is very sing-songy. I use a lot of words with the same letters, and it's almost poetic. It's hard to read it without tripping and stumbling. Super grateful for my friend David Brower of Museum Marketing, who is going to be editing and putting together this book, because without him, I couldn't do it. But when I put the title as It's Getting Hot in Here, I thought, wow, it sounds like this blanket and this thing I'm doing, because it is getting hot in here every single day. But do you know that if you put a frog in a pot of water and you put it on warm and you slowly turn it up, the frog will actually stay in the water until it boils to death and dies. And the enemy is turning up the heat all the time on whatever circumstance you've put yourself in that you shouldn't be in, or sin in your life. Look, when I say sin, it doesn't mean that you have to be a murderer or that you're cheating on your wife, or, it's nothing like that. Sometimes anger, rage, inability to trust, there's so many things that are sin that we don't really think of as sin because they're not hurting anybody else, or they're no big deal, or I'm only human. It's still sin. And the thing about it is, it's just like with drugs or anything else. You do one, and then that's not enough. The next time you need two, then you need three. And before you know it, you're trapped in addiction. You don't feel happy when you're not high. And when you first started, let's say smoking weed, it was just, oh yeah, let's smoke some weed and have fun. Now you want to smoke every day and you're frustrated when you don't have it. That's sin. And that's the enemy turning up the heat little by little until it fries your ass. Listen, he's on a mission to destroy you in every aspect of your life, in your friendships. If you're not telling people, hey, when you said that to me, it hurt my feelings and I didn't say anything to you about it, and I just want to straighten this out. Otherwise, you're frustrated. The person does something again and the heat gets turned up a little more. Before you know it, you're not even able to be around or be friends with that person anymore. That's how the enemy works. That's how sin takes over our lives. Don't let stuff slide. You've got to deal with things in the moment when they come to you. It's something that, in my opinion, we suck at as a culture. Everybody just, forget that. I'll worry about that later, and lets everything slide instead of, look, I deal with it right away. If I say something to somebody, I think, wow, later on, like, for example, like say I'm at church and I'm talking to somebody about something, and somebody comes up and says hi, and I'm like, hey, and I go on about my business. I notice that when I get home, I'm like, oh man, Suze came up to say hi to me and I barely even recognized that she was there. Let me call her, because I don't want the enemy to turn up the heat on her, and who knows what she's battling with or what's going on with her, that's going to make her feel rejected or not appreciated. And there may be other things going on in her life, and the enemy's using my one little busyness of which I didn't mean to do, to turn up the heat and fry the way she feels about herself. You don't know. You don't know what's going on in anybody else's life. The people at the grocery store, the people at the post office, wherever you go, things are going on. Be the person who's happy and cheerful. Be the person who trusts that God's in control. When we have that mindset, we bring life everywhere we go. And we are the kind of people who don't just let stuff slide. If you let stuff slide, your conscience gets seared, and then it's, you don't even realize that what you're doing is affecting you or other people in a bad way. Don't let the heat get slowly turned up until it boils you. Deal with things as they happen. I hope you all have an absolutely fantastic Wednesday and week to follow. Talk to you next week. It's important that we have a reason to wake up every day. It's amazing. I've experienced it, and so can you. Take your feelings to Him. He's good. You can do it. It'll make a difference.